Hi friends, welcome to our YouTube channel IIBS IAS Academy. This is Rakesh Singh, Assistant Professor at IIBS IAS Academy. I have done my PGDBRM from Manipal University. Since last 6 years, I have been teaching to the UPSC aspirant. In this YouTube channel, we will be discussing about the daily current affairs and the topics which are related to UPSC as well as the other competitive exams. Please do subscribe, like and comment on the below section. Good morning friends, welcome to IIBS IAS Academy. Today we will be discussing about today's newspaper, that is The Hindu, that is on 30th October 2020. This article is about the formation of a new commission by the central government to tackle the highly rising pollution in Delhi NCR. Earlier there was one body, that was Environmental Pollution Control and Prevention Authority. That body was used to tackle, control and prevent the air pollution in Delhi. But in the recent time, the level of pollution in Delhi has been rising continuously. So government has decided to just establish one new body with more power so that the body will successful in tackling the pollution in Delhi. So then the name of that body was the Commission for Air Quality Management of Delhi NCR. That commission consists of 6 permanent members, and the chairman of that commission must be either the former secretary to the government or the current secretary to the government. So apart from that, one chairman, 6 permanent member. Apart from these two, other members also, like members or representative from the ministries as well as the representative from the state, are also a member of this commission. And what were the power and function of this commission? Okay, the commission, this commission got full power to control the air pollution in Delhi NCR. The commission got the power to impose a penalty up to 5 crore rupees and can give imprisonment up to 5 years. In India, we have one more body to control the air pollution, that is called Central Pollution Control Board. But this commission exclusively deals with controlling of air pollution in Delhi with coordination with the surrounding or neighboring state of Delhi, that is Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. So whenever there is a clashes between the jurisdiction of this commission and jurisdiction of Central Pollution Control Board, at that time the jurisdiction of this commission will prevail. That means whenever there is a clashes of power for control the air pollution in Delhi between the Central Pollution Control Board as well as between the Commission for Air Quality Management Index for Delhi NCR, at that time the decision of this commission shall prevail. This article is about the National Investigation Agency. Yesterday, National Investigation Agency has raided some resident of Delhi as well as some resident in Kashmir. So for us, important thing that we should know about National Investigation Agency. So National Investigation Agency, it is popularly called as Federal Counter-Terrorism Agency. And this National Investigation Agency, it is a statutory body. Statutory body means the body which formed through an act of the Parliament. So National Investigation Agency was formed or established through National Investigation Agency Act 2008. The members and officers of National Investigation Agency are appointed by the central government. The officers as well as the staff and members of this National Investigation Agency are drawn from IPS and IRS cadre. Previously, National Investigation Agency deals only with the terrorism cases, but last year this act was amended. Last year, National Investigation Act was amended. Okay, according to that recent amendment, now National Investigation Agency can deal the cases which are related to human trafficking, cyber terrorism, and as well as the cases which deals with sale and procurement of banned arms. National Investigation Agency has special courts. So these special courts are exclusively for the National Investigation Agency cases and its trials. The judge of this special court shall be appointed by the central government after consulting with the Chief Justice of that particular state high court. This article is about the National Human Rights Commission. So recently National Human Rights Commission asked report from Orissa government for compensation which has to be paid to the people who were living in and around Hirakund area, those people who were displaced. So what is National Human Rights Commission? National Human Rights Commission, it is an statutory body. Statutory bodies are those bodies which are formed through an act of the parliament. So National Human Rights Commission body formed through National Human Rights Commission Act 1993. The members and even the chairman of this commission will be appointed by the president on the recommendation of highly empowered committee, and the prime minister will be the head of that highly empowered committee. National Human Rights Commission consists one chairman, 4 permanent member and 4 ex officio members. Chairman must be a retired Chief Justice of India, and from 4 permanent member, 2 members must be from judicial background. Out of these 2 members from judicial background, 1 member must be from Supreme Court, either the serving judge or the retired judge of Supreme Court. Then 1 member must be from State High Court, either the serving judge of State High Court, either the retired judge of State High Court. Then rest 2 members are those members who have experience in human rights. Then next 4 ex officio members. So 4 ex officio members are chairman of National Commission for Women, chairman of National Commission for Scheduled Caste, chairman of National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, then chairman for National Commission for Minorities. So chairman of this 4 commission will be the ex officio member of this National Human Rights Commission. What are the functions of National Human Rights Commissions? So one of the most function of the National Human Rights Commission is to protect the human rights, which are provided by the Constitution of India. Apart from that, the National Human Rights Commission has to protect the human rights within a country which were provided through an international conventions, like we have United Nations Human Rights Declaration, example. Okay. Apart from that, it is the duty of the National Human Rights Commission to impose any human rights policies which were released by any international organization like United Nations. So that is about National Human Rights Commission. This editorial, it is about the defense agreement between India and USA. So there is an official security dialogue between India and USA, that is called 2+2 dialogue. It was started in the year 2018. So recently 2+2 dialogue has been held in Delhi. So in this 2+2 dialogues, Foreign Minister or Minister of External Affairs as well as the Defense Minister of India and Foreign Minister and External Minister as well as Defense Minister of USA, both they will conduct the meeting, okay, both they will exchange the dialogue between them regarding the security issue, both they are discussing about each other's country's security issue. So that is about 2+2 dialogue. So India is already having this type of dialogue, 2+2 dialogue, not only with USA. India is also having this 2+2 dialogue with Australia as well as Japan. This article is about the Pusa decomposer. So still till now Pusa decomposer still it is in a process. Once it is successful, then we can get the solution for stubble burning. So what is that Pusa decomposer? Pusa decomposer, it is introduced by Indian Agriculture Research Institute in Pusa, Bihar. So what is the decomposer? That Pusa decomposer, it is a solution. It is a solution which is made up of fungi strain. So farmers, after harvesting, when farmer has to burn the paddy stray, instead of burning the paddy stray, what farmer can do? Farmer can spray this Pusa decomposer on paddy stray, and same that paddy stray which are sprayed with Pusa decomposer can mix with soil, so that the soil fertility also reduce. Then farmer no need to burn that paddy stray also. So in this way, if Pusa decomposer successful, then we can able to reduce the pollution as well as increase the fertility of the soil. This article is about the appointment of CIC, Chief Information Commissioner. So who is Chief Information Commissioner? According to RTI Act 2005, Right to Information Act, at central level we should have one body that is called Central Information Commission, and state level also we should have State Information Commission. So at central level, Central Information Commission, that body consists of 11 members. One is Chief Information Commissioner and other 10 are Information Commissioner. So Chief Information Commissioner will be appointed by the President on the recommendation of one committee. That committee consists of Prime Minister as the chairman, Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha, and any Union Cabinet Minister which will be nominated by the Prime Minister. So these three members comprise that High Empower Committee. So the committee will give recommendation to President for the appointment of Chief Information Commissioner. The tenure of the Chief Information Commissioner is 5 years, and that Chief Information Commissioner, once its tenure gets over, then CIC again it is not eligible for reappointment. Then the person who is having experience in bank, finance, political knowledge, journalism, those persons shall be appointed as the Chief Information Commissioner. So that's all for the day, and tomorrow we'll discuss about tomorrow's current affair. Thank you. So please do like and share our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to press bell icon for more updates. Thank you.